Alright, so I wanted to show you guys this game that I played on Mannerheim line. We're in the WZ-131. I was playing this vehicle a lot. I really like this thing, man. It's just the gun is kind of trollish. That's really the only thing, and the gun depression and all that. But other than that, I'm actually really enjoying playing this vehicle, and I think I am going to go for the 3 mark pretty soon. I'm going to start working up to it, and this should be the next tank I'm going for. I've 3 marked actually 3 vehicles in the last 2 weeks. The VK-2801, actually 4. The VK-2801, the 5916, the AMX-13 FL11, and also the T-54 Lightweight. So we've been 3 marking quite a number of vehicles, and I think I am ready to go for another Tier 7. So what we have is a standard Mannerheim line game. This is, it looks like just a tier 6-7 game, and we have an IS camping in the back. That's what people are talking about in the chat, and I decide I want to move up here. So when I get the northeast spawn, I like to go for this bush initially, and then if I'm not really getting anything, which normally happens on Mannerheim line, I try to start getting aggressive and I come to this area. What you have to be careful of is a light tank that could potentially be sitting here, or if you have a Type 62 that just appears right here out of thin air, you know, watch out for that as well. But people will sit in 3 areas. Okay, I'm actually going to pause to show you. People will sit here. Light tanks like to poke up like this. I do this all the time because I like to get shots going this way. And at the beginning of a match, if you're on the southwest spawn, you can catch people out that are crossing like the 6 line. Right? So if they're going up to the hill, you could sit here and poke shots at them. So you want to watch out for that. Obviously, watch out for this hill, but I don't, you know, someone could spot you here, but if you're in a light tank and you have decent like camera values and stuff, this really shouldn't be a problem because you should be able to outspot someone sitting here, and they'll probably pull back as soon as they're lit. But you want to watch out for that as well. So 4 areas, if you really want to say it. So watch out for this area, watch out for this area, watch out for this bush. There's a bush like right here where an enemy light tank would sit, and then you have this hill, like this tiny ridge line up here next to this rock. There's 4 areas you want to watch out for when you're advancing into this area, right? And that bush, you could see, it's right here. You kind of see that. But also here as well, you'll get those tank destroyers that'll sit there as well. So there's a lot of areas that I just wanted to draw out for you guys so you can be aware of what you need to look for if you're going to advance to this bush right here. And then eventually what I like to do is get even more involved if the situation calls for it, right? So I'm going to ask this 2801-105 to help me out here. And I felt so bad for this guy, man, because I wanted him to help me out, but then eventually what happens here, right? I'm going after the T-78, and there's certain things that you will do in this game. And see how the Jagdpanzer appears? I figured, so let me explain this. I figured that the Jagdpanzer or someone would be sitting here. The VK made this play not really being aware of this, and it almost tells me how well I've kind of developed my skills as a light tank player, if I really could say that, because in the back of my mind, I'm kind of poking this little area to see if I can spot someone here, and I knew that it would keep me safe from the Jagdpanzer, and I have the better angle kind of on the T-78 as well as he goes to pull back. The VK ends up sitting out here, and he's very exposed to this Jagdpanzer and stuff, and I felt so bad because I asked him to help me, and he's like, I'll help you, man, and he's like, come and help me, and he just gets wrecked by the T-78. He gets wrecked by the T-78 and the Jagdpanzer, guys, and I felt really bad, man. Or I guess it's just the Jagdpanzer alone that wrecks him. But I'm trying to get into this fight with the T-78, and the 105 is just not made for this kind of battle, right? Like this tank is almost a brawler. Like you want to be right next to enemies and you kind of peek-a-boom with it. You do not want to be doing these little like trying to fight people on these little ridge lines and stuff like that. The tank is not made for that. So I felt really bad for this guy, man. But anyway, I had to retreat here. I got involved a little bit. We got a shot into the T-78, and now I'm trying to make this play on the Jagdpanzer. I'm trying to get fancy on this little ridge right here with the Jagdpanzer, and you can do this with a tank like the WZ. You just have to be really cautious again of the gun depression, man, and the gun elevation, because it's really bad on this vehicle. I don't know if the elevation's awful, but the depression, man, is so bad on this tank. It's like hardly even existent, guys. It's basically non-existent, and just be really cautious with that. So I'm going to try and see if the T-78 is still here. The Jagdpans are back down, and I'm going to try and just make a little tiny, like, sort of aggressive pass here. I want to see if I can spot anyone in this bush line, or see if my sixth sense goes off, and that will give me some information. If I take a shot at this point, I take a shot, but I really want to start giving the team some information and figure out where these players have gone, because the Sioux's been dark for a while. The T-78 has now been dark for a little while. I'm trying to figure out where these people are. We still have a VK-28-01105 that's been unlit, and Jagdpanzer returns again to this same area. So I'm going to hit him here, and then luckily there's this rock here. I didn't plan this, but this rock is... I knew this rock was here, but I was able to kind of back down here and get away from this guy, and then the T-78 starts pressing me from the front, so I'm like, alright, I have to get out of here again. This is the one part of Mannerheim line that I really don't like, is this little area and this ditch line here, because... I should just say ditch. I say ridgeline so much that it's like I confuse the two at this point, right? I say the word ridgeline so much. But in this little ditch area, right, you can even call it a little valley, you have this issue where, like, people can surround you very easily. And the Jagdpanzer and the T-78 could have honestly sort of flanked me there in a way, but luckily we had the support. So you just have to be really careful when you go here, especially at higher tiers, man, because I can't tell you the amount of times I come around this corner and there's like some... like a waffle panzer or like a T-95 will YOLO you, or somebody who you just do not want to see, right? Even if you're at really high tiers, could be, you know, a shipborne, an FE4005, right? And you come up here, you poke, right? You come right here and you're trying to like spot people in the bushes, and here's a freaking Gorilla 15 or something, and you just get freaking spanked. And then you're trying to run away, and maybe someone appears here, but likely someone else will come YOLO after you. Like, you'll get one of these like Progettos that has like a clip that'll YOLO after you. The amount of times that I have died here to people just going, oh my god, there's a light tank, and they like make a beeline straight for you and want to ram you and crap. Like, I couldn't count it, guys, on fingers and toes, the amount of times I've died in this area. So just be really, really cautious about that. I have to mention that. And now we're going to get into a situation where we have to start figuring out where these people are, and my biggest concern, obviously, is going to be the 152 guys. Where did the 152 go? Because I'm a one-shot, the Boogie's a one-shot, the IS is like, everyone's a one-shot to the Su-152. This tank is extremely dangerous, and we need to figure out where the heck this guy is. So eventually I'm going to clean up the T-20 here. The FE-304 is still kind of a question mark, and then he appears, and then the Su-152 appears. And the Su-152 is the biggest question mark, and that's what I really wanted to know. So now that I know where this guy is, I'm going to kind of approach it cautiously. I'm going to clean up the FE here, and now watch how I do this. And by the way, I've never made this play before, guys. I have never ever made this exact play before. It just so happens that the Sioux is back here, and I'm going to make a play now where I'm lining up. This is what I do, right, guys? I line up, and see, I can even do it with the camera right now. But see, look down here at this little portion of the screen. If you're on a phone, you might have to zoom. I'm sorry, but it's you're gonna have to zoom to see this, because I can't blow the map up anymore on 1440p. On 1080 I can. The map's bigger. But take a look at how I can move the camera all the way around in a 360. And I don't think this is XVM. I'm pretty sure that this is the standard game. You get this line, right? But if not, you would have to get XVM. But this line, this like yellowish kind of line here, I line that up with where the Su-152 was last lit, right? So I'm lining this up with his little marker, and that will orientate the camera to where that he was just last spotted, right? Does this all make sense to you guys? This is just something I do, but I've never had to explain it before. And then what I'll do is I'll drive directly into that area and put foliage in between me and the last known location of him, where he was last spotted, right? So that I know that I'm going to put like foliage in between me and where he is currently sitting. I hope this makes sense. I'm really bad at explaining these things, I feel like, sometimes, but that's why I decide to knock down this tree, and I'm just making sure he's not going to blind fire, right? And then I'm lining up my camera, right? This is what I'm doing in the game, but I'm on free camera right now. I'm lining it up so that I can outspot him and he can't spot me, right? So I'm outspotting him. I'll spot him, he won't spot me, and now I can poke up on this guy. But what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the arty to get a shot. So I actually sit here and wait, and I want the Boogie to also take shots, because as soon as I shoot, I'm going to get spotted and I have to pull back. So I'm trying to see if I can, if these guys can get enough damage to the point where we can get the Su-152 to a one-shot so that I can do this and clean him up, right? This is all just little tiny tactics, but they pay off, guys, if you're going to use them every game. These are those little things that if you know, they could end up helping you win a game at some point, right? I'm not saying these are like some spectacular type of tactics, but these are just things, these little tiny things that I've learned how to do from playing thousands and thousands and thousands of battles, especially in light tanks, right? All these little fancy things. So the way I approached this was, in my opinion, almost perfect. It's just when you knock a tree, you got to be careful of the blind fire, right? So I wanted to show you guys this game specifically for this last portion of the game, right, where I approach the Su-152 with extreme caution. So there you go. We end up with 1825 damage, 722 assist. We did 4 kills here, and Boogie did a good job here, man. A tier 6, I think he has the big gun, and he's like trying to fling HE shells at this guy, but whatever, man. He helped me out. The Artie helped me out here. KV2 was still, I guess, kind of approaching. I kind of forgot this guy was still alive. But we end up making this work, guys, and I just wanted to show you how I very carefully approach the Su-152 at the end of this game. And I think there's a lot of other advice here, right? To be careful in this ditch and just to really look at the map and always be adjusting to the situations. I even showed you guys how I like to approach this bush from that's in like D or C4 or whatever. I think it's more like D4 or even D5, whatever, guys. You saw the bush I went to, right? I think it's right here, this little dot. Sometimes these maps are hard to like look at, man, because you're trying to find like one little bush and it's like a speck on the map. But another play you guys can make, and I showed you what to look out for, so I think there's a lot of information in this video if you guys want to go back and rewatch it if you're having trouble on Mannerheim line. So let's get into the emplates, and I'll let you guys go. I think this video is getting pretty long. We're at 11 minutes, almost 12. First class game, 2030 damage, 722 assist, 3 spots, 4 kills. I don't think I can speak any faster with these emplates. We were top here by, it looks like, oh no, the Panther did more damage than me. We're top by kills only. We're second by experience, second by damage. Panther had a really, really good game. This guy's name is Toe Cutter with 3s instead of E's. If you know him, he played a very, very good game, so shout out to that guy. And that's all, guys. I'm going to just show you, I'm going to record a lot of videos in this vehicle, but I'm just going to zoom in, show you my equipment setup. I'm going to zoom in, show you my crew setup. And again, I said in another video, I applied one more like training guide to these guys, so they have brothers in arms now, and that's it. Aiming time's just really bad on this thing. That's why I run it with the V-stab, and there you go, guys. I'll show you this right here. 17 shots fired, 14 hits, 12 pens, and there you go, 7-minute game. We got it there at the end. It was a GG, and hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned a thing or two. I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.